What is going on, guys? Monster Chat, and we are here for another offensive tip video. This one we're going to be breaking down how to beat the cover 4. Got a couple ways here for you guys. Well, not a couple, more than a couple. Let's go for 5. Let's shoot for 5. We did 5 ways to beat cover 3 in the last video. We're going to do 5 ways to beat the cover 4. First and foremost, cover 4. What about the cover 4? Why people like the cover 4? Do people even run the cover 4? Yes, they do. There's a few reasons people run the cover 4. The first one is to stop the run. That is probably the majority of the people's reason for. The second reason is for pass defense. What do you mean by that? Pass defense, cover 4 should be horrible against the pass. Everybody's deep. That is exactly the point. When you're playing, most often the most common defense is going to be cover 2, cover 2, cover 2, some sort of cover 2 blitz, cover 2, cover 2. You get the idea. So what are opponents going to do? They're going to start running verticals. They're going to start running PA deep shot. They're going to start running routes where you got 3 or 4 guys going downfield and the cover 2 just can't handle it and you're giving up big plays. So that is the other reason I particularly like mixing in a cover 4, I should say, when my opponent, I'll give them the same look, baseline press. They've seen this cover 2, baseline press, and then next time I'm in a cover 4, so when they try to run those 4 verticals or anything like that, I have got guys there to make a play. So let's get into how to beat this style of defense. So it is great against the run. Why is it great against the run? You got both middle safeties in the run fit. You've got your linebackers. This is 3-4 right here, 3-4 odd, and this defense is real common in the red zone area, as well as, just to stop the run in general. It's a pretty good run defense altogether. So how do we beat it? Well, true story, this halfback draw is actually very, very solid against the cover 4. And that is because the linebackers and the safeties, they drop back and you're able to pick up a good amount of yardage on the halfback draws versus the cover 4. Now, here's the thing. You got to be mindful of, if most people are going to be using one of these linebackers, so when you run the draw, they're probably going to come through here like that. But that's just something, you got to run a different draw or something like that. But if you watch most players, they're going to probably pass commit on most plays, and that opens things up even more because the linebackers drop even further back. But nonetheless, the whole idea here, guys, halfback draws can be very solid against the cover 4. We're going to actually look at a halfback draw from the iForm Pro Twins against this cover 4. And I just want to show you it's a pretty good play in the red zone area. This is the hardest part of the field to score touchdowns. Probably anywhere inside the 15, I would say, from the 20. You still got a decent amount of room to work with. But anything inside this 15 can be a very tricky area. And this is, to me, the most important part of the field, because if you're getting 3 points here, that's pretty much a given. You should score if you get inside the 15 no matter what. Don't turn the ball over. But the difference between getting a touchdown and getting held to field goals on a consistent basis is huge, and a halfback draw can be just that run to take your offense to the next level. Go ahead and run it out of a play formation that you typically run, and have some success. Try it out. Check out the formations you'd usually use. Check out some formations that you use in the red zone, and see if you got a halfback draw that is effective out of that formation. So that is my first way to beat the cover 4. We're going to hit them with the halfback draw. Second way we're going to look at beating the cover 4, guys, is very, very simple. We are going to attack the flats. Attack the flats, attack the flats. Now, a couple things about the cover 4. A lot of them have this quarter flat zone, which can be a great zone. It can be a horrible zone. It reminds me a lot of the squat flat in that it is a very frustrating zone to play against. It's also a very frustrating zone to use. What do I mean by that? Sometimes it's going to guard the flat. Sometimes it's going to guard the corner. Sometimes it's not going to guard anything. It is a very unpredictable zone. Now, if you know the rules and everything, yes, you know what the zone is going to do. However, it really will play differently depending on where they are. Like if they don't baseline and press, he's probably going to cover the corner. If they baseline and press, he's going to cover the flat against this split close style defense. So that's just the first thing to note. Another thing to note is some guys will shade underneath, and they're going to play a hard flat. The other thing is they'll shade back up, and then they'll get those cloud flats. Cloud flats are probably the most popular zone this year. They give you the most consistency, and as a defensive player, a lot of people just want to know what their guys are going to do in those quarter flat zones. Just a little bit unpredictable. So if they go with the cloud flat, you're going to have the flats open all day long. As you can see, we got a table route there. We're able to pick up 3 to 4 or 5 yards. Let's see here. If they go with the table route here, not a table route. If they go with the cloud flat again, cloud flat, blah, blah, blah. Goodness, I don't know what's going on, but we're able to hit that out route just the same way as we beat the cover 3. If they shade over the top, maybe you've been hitting it with C routes and they turn it into a curl flat, same thing. The flat's going to be open. I don't need to keep, going over this time and time again. So I'm going to go ahead and just press real quick, get those quarter flats down. And then you'll see these quarter flats play very interesting. So you have the out route on the left was completely locked up. Like completely locked up. But the table route on the right was open. And the other thing on the right side is that those zones will sometimes press. And when they do, as you can see here, what happens is sometimes they get out of position. And this is one of those times where they didn't cover anything because we could have hit the flat early. We also had Gronk further downfield for a bigger gain had we went to him. I just wanted to show you guys on the replay. That's what I mean by not covering anything and at the same time covering everything, because now we're going to base align and press, and you'll notice the difference here. We'll do the exact same route combination, but this time the corner route is pretty much locked up because the quarter flat here committed to Lewis, and the flat took him away, really had nowhere to go. So that's the one thing about it. You got to make sure you got some underneath, and I'll talk about that. That's our third way to beat cover 4 here. But as you can see, this quarter flat just played this beautifully. Played it beautifully. Yes, we could have got this pass there. He had a beat. But for the most part, he played this really well. On the opposite side here, he plays this flat really well. Yes, we maybe could have snuck a pass in there, but really not worth the risk reward at that point. And then this hook zone just takes Gronk out. But what I wanted to show you is now, if we do that same thing, and we're going to go ahead and just attack the middle of the field here. So that's one thing. Attacking underneath in the middle of the field with, drag routes, with slants, that's the weak part of the cover 4, generally speaking. You're either going to attack the outside underneath, flood the outside, or you're going to flood the middle of the field. Definitely flooding the middle of the field is a good idea. This route Hogan's on is an awesome, fantastic route here because one of two things is going to happen. Either Blunt's going to get open or that little curl in the middle of the field is going to be wide open. So as you can see here, we wait, and the halfback on the right side was open the entire time. So now let's say they go ahead and baseline and press. Remember how they locked up Gronk and Lewis the last time when we did this route combination here? They locked up everything pretty much. So now we do the same thing. We're just going to leave Hogan on that nice little baby curl to the middle of the field. And this time, Hogan is just wide open. Now again, if you're playing somebody, they're probably going to use that. But we're just going over the basics here, guys. Just going over the basics. But again, that is just some of the things you want to do. Now, another thing about the cover 4 is it is not a cover 2, which means we can actually swerve it. Yes, you can swerve a cover 4. Crazy, right? Now, again, if someone knows what they're doing defensively, user-wise, they can stop this. But if they don't know how to stop it, or if they just don't seem to have any users at all, whatever the case might be, you can swerve a cover 4. So that's another way you can beat it. So we've talked about draws, we've talked about swerve, talked about hitting the flats, attacking underneath in the middle. And then the last thing, guys, I guess if you want to say it's a fifth, it's kind of a 4/5, the middle and underneath, stuff like that. But drag routes can be very effective against the cover 4. So I'm going to run Y sail here. And again, we'll go into our favorite cover 4. And then we'll go ahead and put Edelman here on a drag. So this would be a solid route combination versus cover 4 just because Amendola's going to be underneath, Edelman's going to be underneath, and then we got a flood on the right side of the field. And so we just wait, and you can just hit this drag underneath cover 4 all day long. Even if you want to leave it the opposite way and do something like this, you can go ahead and do that. But at some point, the drag is going to be wide open. So drag routes are a very effective way to beat the cover 4. We're going to drag the slot wide receiver this time. Like I said, he's just going to be open. So flats, drags, underneath in the middle of the field. Another route that, is popular, if you get those running back routes where they are doing that blue curl, or maybe you just want to curl them yourself. You could also put them on an option route if you wanted to. But let's just go ahead and run that quick here. So you got that running back on a curl there. Let's go ahead and do it this way. So if we put Blunt on a curl and we had Gronk doing that corner route, you'll notice that Blunt's going to get wide open in the middle. So the whole idea here is just underneath in the middle, and you'll have some success in that area of the field. Let's just say they start taking stuff away. Maybe they man up Blunt because you've been hitting them with that curl. And then which case, you're going to have guys going across the middle there, or whatever the case may be. The middle of the field is kind of that weak spot for the cover 4 defense. So if you can kind of flood the middle, maybe have a guy underneath, have a guy sitting in the middle, have another guy going deep in the middle, a deep end like Edelman has here is a nice route, just so that they can't cover everything. You're going to have some success. So just to recap, draws, swerve, middle of the field, underneath, and then drag routes are my 5 quick ways to beat the cover 4. Hopefully I didn't put you guys to sleep. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and drop that like. Be sure to subscribe for more Madden content. Got some gameplay, got some more goodies coming up here. Appreciate the continued support. Till the next time, fellas and ladies, we gone!